Oh, yeah. Good morning, Cornbread Man Morning Show, 5:07 Eastern Standard Time on your Thursday, February 26th. It's good to be here with you, bright and early, a little earlier than usual. We have things to do this morning at work and to be there earlier. And we appreciate you for that. Have joined in. We hope you're having a good morning, evening, whatever it is in your time zone. So, some people, I remember the days of being a night owl. Stayed up all night, worked night shift. I'd stay up all night on my days off, sleep during the day. Some people do it that way. Some people do it a little different, try to get back on a normal schedule. It's really hard on the body. Some people are gamers. They stay up all night and they just sort of drift around and jump into different streams. I've done it all. This morning, though, I probably got up. I was up four something. I don't remember exactly what, but probably closer to 4:30. I was pushing just a little bit to be on here on the time that I wanted to go live today. It was pretty close. Added a couple more things in this morning. We had to bring up live. So back on Instagram, we had switched around some things and had to wait just a bit. We're back on there. Thank you for coming in to Instagram this morning. We've got some of our older listeners that we need to get back into this new one, and we're working on that as well. But we're glad to be going live this morning to Facebook and X and YouTube and Twitch and Kick and Instagram and Rumble, 2-channel, Rumble, Podbean. Podbean is another channel we're on. And I'm probably forgetting something. But anyway, good morning. We always start out our day with our Bible verse, and we'll read that for those that's on the audio side and cannot see that. We definitely want to show the Bible verse today. Get our day started right in the Word. And there it is, popping on the screen from Psalms 125. Verse 3, for the rod of the wicked shall not rest upon the lot of the righteous, lest the righteous put forth their hands unto iniquity. The Psalms are a great source of daily inspiration. And, some people, if you're doing Bible reading plans, and you do the Psalms and the Proverbs are great for this. What you do is you read a proverb a day. You might have to double up. Like this month is very short because being February. Some months go a little bit more, so 31 Psalms, but you can read one a day and go through just about all the Proverbs. And most months you have to read 1, 2 the last day, or 3 if it's February. So today you would have to read 3. But then when you go to the Psalms, what you do is you start like you do 3 different sections. There's 150 Psalms, so you split them in 3 or 4 different sections, however you want to do it. And 1 through 30 is one, 31 through 60, so forth, so on. And you read those, and the next day it'd be, verse 2, verse 32, or 31, 32, I guess, 32, and so on and so forth. And what happens is you're reading through all these things, within a short amount of time, and then you're reading your Old and New Testament readings, or New Covenant, Old Covenant, whatever you want to say. You're reading those. You read 3 chapters a day. You're going to read the Bible in a year anyway. So there's all kinds of different plans, but I kind of like that one because you're getting a daily dose of Psalms and Proverbs, and that is helpful to anybody. If you're not even a believer, there's good supportive verses there for any instance of life. How could you not want the good, Proverbs? You think about a parent sending their kid out, because that's what it's really the grand overview is 2 parents talking to their son about going out in the world and what they, you could just say child, but what you want or what you don't want. Most people want basically the same things for their kiddos as they go out in the world. So warning them about things that are bad, stay away from them, do the good, do what you know to do is good. I mean, that's universal. And then they're uplifting, in the Psalms, uplifting. There's some that are, more about his. Hey, Jake from Mississippi. Good morning, sir. You're bad as I am, all over the place on here at different times, morning, night. I don't do middle of the day like you because I'm at work most days, but I have done it on weekends. Or if I'm off, I have. But early mornings, early afternoons to late evening, depending on the day, broadcasting away are different. Tonight we have a special dirt report, which is our dirt track report. Our guest, we could not get in touch with him yesterday. It didn't happen. We'll reconnect with them. Hopefully, they're fairly local and they were going to be in studio. So that's what I hate that because we missed it anyway. Especially those are going to be in studio. Tonight is remote, but we do have another driver. We'll interview that. And I'm sure we will cover a few other things. It'll be a full hour, probably a little more. And then me and Biscuit Boy, we'll do probably a Wolf Nation show or Cornbread Nation or something for today. And then I want to get in tonight. I'd really been on a long time and I need to be with my wife and help her. We got to do our music show tonight. Hopefully Friday night we'll kick in the history show, but got to get back to from Dave's Vault, our albums from my vault. And tonight we're going to talk about another band, and we may slide in an era of music too and talk about the albums from that year. We did 87 last week. We're going to jump up to 91. We're going to do 91. Some of you may not have been alive, but 91 is a great year for music, and from my point of view. And we're going to do that. But we'll also talk about a band as well. So it's a packed hour. There's a lot going on. We'll talk about the lows, the highs, the ins and outs, concert experiences and memories. Definitely be a part of that. In most cases, some bands I cover I may not have seen, but most of the ones that I'm going to cover I have seen. There'll be bands that I cover that I may have seen a concert clip of them, but I wasn't there when the lights go down and the sound comes up and all that good stuff in the amphitheaters or the arenas or the clubs. Or I've seen quite a few bands in clubs, individual. I saw Ace Frehley once in a club, the Ace. It's like, man, I mean, it was solo. So, Kiss was out there, selling and still could do it, sell out these big arenas and festivals and all that. And then here's Ace and he's in a room with a few hundred, but hey, he was happy. He was happy. He didn't care. He done made his money. He didn't care. But God rest his soul. But I do remember on Peachtree Street in Atlanta, GA, I saw the great Ace Frehley. But hopefully we'll get that in tonight. And then Friday we got shows and on over the weekend. Our pet show has been moved to Sunday. Tuesday just got a little hectic for me and Jen. I suggested she loved it, and because there's been things come up for her, traveling, things come up for me, and occasionally that's going to happen anyway, sick, whatever, but we try our best. So here lately has really become difficult, and I needed more flexibility. Our national day today. All right, there's definitely a couple here that I can get into big time. Okay, it's National Carpe Diem Day. I don't really ever get that. I have before in my job. You got so much money to spend on food or whatever. So that is today. I don't know that we needed a day for that, but I don't know that we need any of these for a day. But Carpe Diem today is the day we celebrate that today. The one I do like, though, is National Chili Day. I'm a chili connoisseur. Now, I don't like it burning you up. Some people think you got to have it, flamethrower. And that's fine. If that's what they want, I have no problem with that. I just don't want it. I just like a chili should have some bite. Absolutely. But I don't like it where when you put it in your mouth, there are flames shooting off the spoon as you're headed to your mouth. They really should do both. They really should make Hot Dog Day the same as Chili Day because it goes together. But, you go to these chili cook-offs. They're a lot of fun to go to. You get to sample a lot of different chilies. And they happen all over. I mean, that's, and if you're going to, and a lot of churches will do chili suppers and things to raise money for people in need, surgeries or somebody helping recover or just, covering funeral expenses, whatever. They go in and if somebody gets a meal out of it and they, people you can make big pots of chili and, people want to come eat that and fellowship and raise money. So it's an easy thing to make, really. It doesn't, unless you could probably make it long, but I mean, you could have a really good pot of chili in way less than an hour. I mean, it's not a hard thing to put on, and it tastes great. So I like that. And the weather has gotten a little warmer. I hear the rain now in our area. We're getting rain. Just started. I'm glad to wait. I got the studio. But National Chili Day, I'm good with. National Toast Day. I like toast. I wouldn't say that I eat it all the time, but I do like some toast. But it's pretty. I think pretty well. Part of a lot of breakfasts is a little bit of toast. If I'm going to eat a full menu sit down breakfast, I do want toast. I don't like. I have done it in Country Boy Can Survive. I have done this. I'm not a huge fan of it, but when there has been times that things were a little tough back in days gone by, a long, long, long time ago. Instead of gravy biscuit, we had toast and gravy. I've done it. I have done it, or even toast on just the regular bread. I've done it. I mean, gravy on the regular bread. Oh, things you do. So we don't have the biscuit. Let's eat the toast. Let's make some toast. We can do that. My granddaughter will love this one. One of them, especially National Small Dog Day. National Small Dog Day. We have a little Munchkin dog. She's Chiweenie or something like that. I think they call it a rescue from the local lockup. We busted her out. My granddaughter picked her out of a huge lineup. All dogs barking. Some of them, I don't know if they even wanted to leave, but they wanted to bark at us. I guess I'm just kidding. I guess I wanted to get out, but they were, most of what they had that day was big dogs, big, and they were only maybe 4 or 5, maybe small dogs, and she instantly settled on her little dog, and she's been with us for over 2 years now. I guess close to 3 years. I know it's got to be over 2. But I think she's had her second birthday with us. She's probably about 3 because I think she was a year old or so when we got her. So I think that's right. So anyway, that is some of your national days. A couple of more. Letter to an Elder Day. What a great thing. Of course, need think in context of, can they read the print, make sure it's legible, big enough, But National Letter to an Elder Day. They don't mean that they're can't. I mean, elders can be not that way, but thinking of who you're sending it to. Elder could be someone that's just older than you, but an elder, somebody that you go for wisdom or whatever. But that's a good one. I like that. National Elder Letter to an Elder Day. Always a good thing to do. National Set a Good Example Day. I'm going to tell you, if you've ever heard of the broken window theory. Hey, good morning, Brother Cook. God bless you. Love you, man. The broken window theory, which I heard about through Rudy Giuliani's fixing of the subways. We're going to fix the broken windows. We're going to paint over the graffiti. We're going to make it look nicer, and it'll catch on. Well, it really does work. And I went to work part-time as security at a inner city big box store. They was having a rough time. That's why they brought security back. They put the police back inside the store for security, paid the extra money, saved them a heck of a lot of money. Outside, I was working the parking lot. The police was working the inside. We were having to get up, get the homeless moving along. They, couldn't lay on your duffel bag. I mean, the workers said it was a night and day after within 2 months of what had happened. It took us about I would say close to a year to get it where it was really good. And just very rarely we have a problem. But one of the things that I did as security is, and I was doing it for a couple of reasons. One thing that, I used to get out back in those days. They were having a tough time having enough help, so I'd get out and push some buggies sometimes for some of the guys. And I didn't have to do that. Well, they really appreciated it. But another thing I did, was to pick up trash. The parking lot was always trashed out, and this goes back to set a good example. So I would walk around and I would pick up trash and I'd put it. And it was all over the parking lot. People just throw whatever. They didn't care. And so I was trying to make the place look better. It also allowed me to look for people that were, they could see the car, but they wouldn't see me walking through the cars. So, they were somebody who asked, what are you doing that for? You're security. What are you doing that, Brian? I would tell them, well, you don't want to come to a dirty parking lot. Well, that's not your job. I said, well, how about if I'm watching your car while I'm doing it to make sure nobody breaks in it? Oh, well, that's a good idea. Carry on, sir. So it's like, people got a question like, why do you even care? But anyway, what happened was, and the day that I remember, at least it was starting to make sense to some of these people. I'm picking up trash. I'm walking along. There's some guys standing there fixing to get in their car. That guy just throws something on the ground. I wasn't going to say a word. I was picking up trash nearby because trash was everywhere. And the guy goes and he picks it up and he says, sir, Since you're picking up trash, I'm going to pick up my trash. Now, I didn't, I wanted to say, why are you throwing it on the ground anyway? I didn't. I just withheld that information for myself. I said, hey, man, I appreciate that. Makes the parking lot look nicer. You have a good day, sir. And he was like, yeah, man, hey, hey, dog, have a good day. Well, one day I had hurt my foot. Um, I not at work. I got infected. I missed a few days of work. It was pretty rough. I'd worked. In fact, I'd worked a day of security. I went early on a Sunday morning to the emergency room. I just had enough. And he said it was a good thing I came. I got on some medication. It took me a few days to get over. It took me about 2 weeks to where I could really feel like walking again. But it took me a long time. So I didn't pick up as much because it was to me just get there, get to my job, be in the car, moving around. That was the big goal. What I noticed was I thought, boy, this parking lot's going to trash up while I'm not doing that. But it didn't. And here was going on 3 years. And so 2 years later, very rarely do I see any kind of mess thrown on a parking lot. People got a new expectation, set a good example. It does work. It changes society. If you have a greater expectation, if you clean up, it doesn't mean you're never going to have to not pick up after people, or they're not going to be that kind of people do that. But I promise you, people will kind of do what they see you do. It sets an example. It's a subconscious thing, and it's the coolest thing. I so enjoyed seeing that happen, where you would get my Instagram it is Southern_Patriots_podcast. Sorry, there on Podbean. I was just looking the other way, but I can type that in. But thank you for being in here. But so if you don't have to remember that. Southern, let's see here, Patriots. Y'all bear with me just a minute. But set the good example. So there you go. Set the good example and the good things will happen. Cook, I hope you're doing well today. Hello to everybody that has come into the stream this morning early, really early, I know. So it is that. Let me pull up now. Let's see if I usually have it all pulled up ahead. I was bumping a little bit late. Let's look at the, and I didn't preview these, so let's look at celebrity birthdays today. We'll see if there's anybody, and there is. Some of you may not remember. Some of you might. Today is George Harrison's, of Beatles fame, birthday. Born in 1943, died in 2001. Legendary George Harrison. Sean Astin, actor. He's the guy that starred in Rudy, right? When did he Rudy? 55. Come on. The Mailman is a better story from University of Georgia. Nothing wrong with Rudy. I like the story, but the Mailman story is even better. Way better. Way better. That's not a knock at the Rudy story. But the Mailman, he went through a lot of similarities, but he come back and won two, not one, but two back-to-back national championships. This is the guy that said couldn't do it, even his own fan base. Bo Nix of Auburn fame, was always predicted to be a Heisman Trophy winner, never won it, never really won at Auburn, not that way. But boy, he set it on fire when he got to the NFL. Set it on fire. May win a Super Bowl. He's that good. That team is that good. Should have probably done better. So his birthday is today. Ric Flair, the great Ric Flair, 77 years old today. Not Dusty. Jake, if you're still listening out there, Ric Flair's birthday. I know you're all over that. Anybody else? John Doe, punk singer, 73. I'm not as familiar with him. Some people might be. That may be about it. I think that's it for today. Let's double check here. Well, it is Kash Patel, the FBI leader, 46 years old today. Comedian Chelsea Handler, 51. A lot of people know her. And we will stop there. So that's your celebrity birthdays today. Ric Flair. Now, he's went through a lot of health issues himself. And it's really amazing that he is still alive. I mean, he's definitely been kept around for something. I mean, the guy has absolutely he was near death's door at one point in in his life. I mean, he got bad. and he's survived. He's an overcomer. I tell you, he's a tough guy. Down in my back, Cook says, but I'm off to work today. Got the heating pad on. Yeah, thank you, Jesus. Well, I hope it gets better, man. It ain't nothing like that. My wife has had the bad health problems, and she's hanging on. She's doing okay, but not, she can't get around anymore. Speech is basically gone. But, she communicates lots of other ways. Text to me, sometimes you just know. And you point, she can kind of grow in a few things. Just being honest, that's where she's at. But we have to, help her up, off the chair, into the wheelchair or the walker, and all those things, into bed. And she, that is, I'm not used to that. So, like my arms, they stay pretty sore. Maybe I'm getting a workout, maybe I'll get stronger. Eat my spinach. But sometimes my shoulder's been the thing. It's sore I can handle, but my shoulder was actually in pain. And that's not fun. So I understand, brother, man. I've used some Flexol and 454, all that on the shoulder, trying to get it better. And, you do what you can. But get better, man. Go to work and be productive. Amen. God bless you all. Glad to see you in here. Boy, you going early, man. I didn't know you had to go in that early. I'm going to pull up we do a small town shout out in different states. And I'm going to do one. It hasn't been too long since I've been to this area, but I wanted to go back to one town here. There was several that I wanted to do, but I like the name. There's a lot of cool names but in Oklahoma, we're going to give a shout out today too, and I was hoping to find a little more information. I like to tell a little history about the small town if I can, or it could be a mid-sized town. Sometimes you see that. But Broken Bow, Oklahoma. And in 2020, it was a population of 4,228, which is, yes, a small town. It definitely qualifies as a small town. And it is named after Broken Bow, Nebraska, the former hometown of the city's founder, the Dirks brothers. So that's what I love about this. How do places get their names? These guys lived in Broken Bow, Nebraska. They go to Oklahoma, and they say, hey, we'll just make us a new Broken Bow. It's a great name. Let's do it. It was located in the Bogue-Tuclo County district. Of course, the Choctaw Nation. You go through Oklahoma, you see the different nation signs. The Choctaw Nation. It was growing up around grew up around a lumber company. Very common. A lot of small towns got their beginning. Something was built. The lumber people, they started cutting the trees and kind of builds up around there. But even just a decade after its founding, they had almost 2,000 people living there. That's pretty big. It was incorporated in 1911. The Dirks were named, the elementary school's named after the Dirks. One of the streets, the train, all preserved in the town. It's historical. It lies within the Little Dixie region of Oklahoma, an area originally settled largely by Southerners seeking a new start following the Civil War. How about that? Or the war between the states. They were looking for a place. So some history there. I'm sure they were flying their flag. They were flying their colors. After all, in that time, it was a very rural area. Good morning. I think I know this young man, Jeremy Cordell. Yes, he is my son. Standing there with his daughters. I think it was, if I looked right. I think that's a picture of you and your daughters, right? My grandchildren. You're your daughters, my grandchildren. Hope you're having a good morning, son. I'm coming on early. I'll be headed that way shortly. But yeah, good morning to you, man. But they, what else? The city was the location of the wounding and capture of murderer Richard Wayne in 1984. Wayne Snell. Following a shootout with local police, Snell had shot and killed 2 men in Arkansas, a pawn shop owner and an Arkansas state trooper, Lewis P. Bryant. God rest his soul. Anyway, what a thing to be famous for. But Broken Bow, cute little quaint town. I love it. Sitting over there, very close to the border. That's why you get the Arkansas part. I don't know if I was actually in that part. I kind of came when I came into the state. I always came in kind of east to west, then west to east. But I came in through the middle of the state, but I did go north south and kind of up through got in the panhandle of Texas and stuff. Um, and Cook giving you some love there, son. So yeah, he's headed to work and you're at work, catching that work crowd this morning. Again, those were all not long, I tell you. I know. So yeah, a little small town shout out, Broken Bow. Broken Bow. I wonder how Broken Bow. And I get to. Um, has it been too not a bad night? Dolphin tonight? Okay, got that dolphin thing going on. Be careful with that. Be safe, both of you, when you're going to work. But Broken Bow, I wonder if it just has this idea of a warrior going out, and he come back and he did not make the kill. He didn't bring back what he was supposed to. They were trying to make this kind of jumping off into manhood. They send the young buck off, and he comes back, and they say, "We're going to call you Broken Bow. You didn't bring back nothing to eat." I don't know what that. I need to look that up. I don't have an idea what that means, but hey, that's pretty cool. Oh, let's look at a little news and see what's going on. Just as an overview, I was reading some of this last night. Minnesota, they're going to they're going to draw down some funds due to fraud. That's going to be controversial back and forth. You got to fight the fraud, yes, but it's the Medicaid, and they'll catch heat on that. So there'll be all kind of sound bites off of that. So say what you will. Everybody has a right to their own opinion about that, but there is a lot of fraud, and some people say it's political. You're going to get that, and it's already being said, and but that's going to be the fight. It always is when you're talking about, especially those kind of services. Representative Omar doesn't regret yelling at Trump. I would never think that she would. I'm just saying from that. They do want to move the GOP to censor Representative Green. He was the one that held up the sign in the year before. He held up the stick or the walking cane or whatever they call it, the stick at the president. He's doing it he's getting exactly what he wants out of that. Yeah, Cooks used to do that at Rossville Mills. I worked at Rossville Mills one night. I had a better job offer come in the next morning and went to it, got the job, and got a raise, $1 raise, and it was just I'd lost my job. My company shut down, so I was kind of working back through that. It's not there anymore. Well, it is, but it isn't. It's not a business. Not like that. But they are trying to do some things over that. What else? No, I'm expecting Iran news. There's nuclear talks going on. They're not going to do anything. But they're trying to come to a deal. They have 2 carrier groups in the region. Are we going to bomb Iran? I don't know. Sometimes it looks like it will. Sometimes it looks like it doesn't. This is the one area that I will say that the president talked about all the wars. He's ended 8 wars. Well, he hasn't ended Russia, Ukraine, and I don't think that he's going to be able to. I think Russia's content to just continue on. I watched a pretty good little short documentary about where it stands at, and I think that Putin, the leader of Russia, he understands there's nothing going to happen to him, and he can continue the march. And Ukraine, they've done a good job stifling them. It's slow go over inches of land, sometimes a few miles, but they're just slogging it out over the land. And I think it's not moving. The needle's not moving much. The carnage continues, and I don't see that ending anytime soon. So I think this thing's going to continue on. I think it's going to be something that continues on through most of his term, and I just don't think it's going to stop. Not without a major intervention by the world. Nobody's going to put troops on the ground there. They're going to continue feeding resources to Ukraine. I don't think that Ukraine can get it done. It'll just continue on. And at some point, I mean, look, Iran and Iraq fought for, what was it, 10 years, 12 years long? This thing could be like that, honestly. It's going to be a long time. I don't think it'll be that long. But this thing is going to go past 5 years. We're entering into the 4th year right now, and it's just right now it's costly, but there's still enough money. There's still enough men I mean, out here that they're throwing, they're throwing all kinds of different things out there now because they are running lower on men. But you get down to the sickly and everything else, you just throw everything at them at the kitchen sink, and it's become a drone warfare anyway, and artillery and missile and all that. So anyway, that's going to continue. Hillary Clinton is set to testify for the House panel today in the Epstein probe. I doubt you'll hear very much from her. I would even be surprised that if she took the fifth, it would not surprise me. She's a lawyer, or was one. I don't know if she ever got her law license back or not. Her or Bill. I think that you'll probably see them just not say much. They'll be very cautionary with what they say in this. They didn't want to report to it at all. I understand, but I don't think you're not going to get any juicy news out of this or Bill, either one. But the fact they have to come in, the looks on the face it'll be something to listen to. It will be must see TV, just because it'll get a little testy, I'm sure. And she will be very angry that she's having to come in. She's got the worst temper. Bill don't have that big of a temper. Hillary has a legendary temper. I say the night that she lost to Trump that first time, or the one time she lost the first time he won. That she was already pretty well lit, ready to go out and accept her, being the new president. And they had to tell her she didn't win. They say there was a lot of drinks thrown at the wall and screams and things flipped over and cursing, and it was pretty wild. That's what I've always read. A lot of people didn't know what to do with her. I think they were probably calling Bill. He's like, you have at it. Kind of a switch. This came out yesterday that Cuba, shot the speedboat. 4 people were shot, 10 people were aboard, but 4 died, I think it was. They say that they had terrorist intentions, the Cuban government says. It was a Florida registered speedboat that entered Cuban waters, opened fire on a Cuban patrol. I want to know more about this. The information is very limiting. But they said they were armed with assault rifles and had terrorist intentions, according to official media. I don't know how trustworthy you can put in that. The occupants of the speedboat were Cubans who reside in the U.S., state-run news outlet said, citing the Interior Ministry. Cuba said earlier its forces killed 4 and wounded 6 others aboard the speedboat. Have we? I want to hear more about this story. Have we let so many people into our country? We know there's bad here that not only now are we dealing with it inside the country, they're now, putting the little Navy out to go fight others. I mean, if they're Cubans, I get it. Maybe they're fighting to get someone out of there, but really, that's your plan. I think there's more to this. I think it's a lot more, but we'll see. But really, if that was your plan, it's kind of like the guy walking onto Mar-a-Lago with a gas can and a shotgun, and maybe he was planning on ending it all, but his plan failed really quickly. No shots fired by him, no gas can used. So he did accomplish one goal, and that was to cease to live. He did get that accomplished. Homicide by cop, being that of the Secret Service FBI who dropped him like a rock. I mean, dude, really psychotic. I mean, how far do you think you're going to get in that situation? And they're not going to tell everything about it, but he did get to one level of security. I mean, I'm sure the first one is observation, just keep cameras, whatever. And then it's like, okay, we have a suspect, and they were ready. It was like they were lined up like the gunfight at the OK Corral. Here we go. He raised his. I guess he figured he'd get all 3 of them with a shotgun blast. I don't even know if he was close enough, and they opened up on him. So I don't know how many holes he had in him by the end of that. No disrespect intended, but I'm sure that revolvers were emptied, to be honest. I'm sure. You neutralize the threat. But yeah, this was kind of a weird one. I don't know. The Cubans. I mean, that would be like the Cubans coming after us. Good morning, Tommy Nealon. Hey, man, how you doing, bud? It's good to hear from you, man. I hope you and your family are doing well. God bless you. Where are you working at these days? You and Tommy worked together a long time ago. Well, let me clarify. Tommy worked. I don't know. I had a job to do, but I wasn't turning a wrench. Like, there's different levels of work. Everybody has a job and a role. Yes, but Tommy worked much harder than me. I'll say that. He had to fight machines, listen to operators. You're not. He didn't fix it. Guys that turn wrenches and girls, they understand. Good morning, brother Jerry Barrett. How are you doing, sir? Hey, I'm gonna return it to you, brother. It's about time you got out of that bed. I'm coming on early. I've got some early work things to do, so I'll be tearing out of here in a little bit. So I didn't have time to do the whole show from the time I was going to do it. So, but Jerry's getting up and about, sitting on the edge of the bed, getting ready to go. Did you do your 20 push-ups this morning, Jerry? 20 pull-ups. Got to get them crunches in, man. Now, Tommy probably did that, but me and Jerry were like, just get out of bed. How about that? It's a win if you get out of bed. My wife was saying last night she's ready to go to bed, so I got up and I was like, am I going to be able to get up? It was like my body said no. I mean, I'd been kind of laying in the same position. I was just lounging across the couch, and I was like, oh, I'll try to get you into bed. We may be stuck where we are. Oh, it's a pitiful sight. You never get older. You have to work on you. You do your workouts from the bed. That's just trying to get your legs moving. You ever Cook would do this. Cook's probably gone, but have you ever done this? Like when you get up, you have to shake your leg to get it moving. Oh, he's been up since 3:30. Let me take those words back. I have drunk enough coffee to float a boat. I just noticed you were on. I am, sir. God bless you, man. Love you, man. Early riser. That reminds me of my dad. My dad, I don't know if he was 3:30. I think he was 4:30 every day. 4:30. Like my dad never used an alarm clock in his life that I know of. He just 4:30, he was up. That was his time. Straight to, coffee was back in the day. We didn't have those automatic things. Dad had to go make it, I'd hear him or mom, the old style pot you put on the stove. We later on got one of those better gadgets, but the type I'm talking about. You're putting water in it and sitting on the stove with the coffee in the top and all that, percolating. That was what we had early on. Then later, because he would always fill up a thermos. He drank 2 thermoses worth, I think, before he went to work, and then he carried a thermos with him. So my dad, for years, worked in foundries. He also worked some security, but for years going to the foundry daily as I'm, getting ready for school, I'd see the same thing. That was that thermos. And my dad always carried the brown sack, paper sack of a lunch, 2 sandwiches, a Twinkie, it's like Archie Bunker, man. He had the little Twinkie, the little couple of sandwiches. He might have had something else thrown in there, a little bag of chips or something. That was what my dad. Most of the time it was just the 2 sandwiches and a Twinkie. My dad was really a big Twinkie fan. That was his snack, late afternoon, I guess. Tommy, I'm working on my first cup of coffee. I still work on those machines for Mohawk now. Okay. Well, bless your heart, man. I hope you're doing well. Got to keep turning those. Hey, somebody's got to fix those machines. But yeah, turning them wrenches. Absolutely. We're trying to figure out my next 4 or 5 doctor's appointments between 2 hospitals and doctors. Yeah, that's like crazy right there. That is absolutely crazy. Thank you for the like there, Jerry. I'll tell you something that happened the other day for my wife. I was at work. My son and my sister took my wife to one of her doctors, and she was a good thing, but there's always concern about her arms. Her arms they bleed. They're really thin, and the skin, and she stays bruised there in her arms. It's just hard. They're so thin, but she's doing good except for strength. She's got to get some strength back, but He said, well, I'm a little concerned about that. And they were explaining how she's been to the hospital. She's been checked out by doctors, and everything comes out good. But he says, well, he said, would you mind if I prayed with you in Jesus' name? Of course, that just excited them. They said, absolutely. So he occasionally find a doctor who's not willing to, cave and actually has a believer and was praying with my wife. So I like that. She liked it. They liked it. And I appreciate him doing that. Sometimes you go to these doctors and they have the God complex. It's all about them, I can fix you. You pay me a bunch of money, I will fix you. I will put you through the ringer, but I will fix you. It's all me. Poor Jerry's been through it. Daryl also, who comes on the show, he's been through it the last year. God bless y'all. Y'all some tough men. I'm telling you. I know you would point to Jesus, but y'all some tough men. Y'all have been through a lot, and everybody that knows them knows that. That is no lie right there. They've been through it for the last year or so, maybe 2 years in Daryl's case, but well over a year of have just went through it. So Jerry's they're both kind of on the other side, just continuing to get better, but you still got to go to all them appointments. It's different now though. Used to, I don't know, maybe they still, but used to, now when I go to the doctor, I don't wait long. Used to, you'd have to wait a half a day at one of them. They'd be calling names out. And somebody didn't say anything right away. They were like, okay, they're not here. Call the next one. You're trying to hurry up and get out of there. Every time my doctors and nurses look at the bruises, they ask me if I feel safe. And they do the same with her. For some reason, my wife keeps getting mad. For some reason. Yeah. Well, and we've had them show up, doing the elder check, well, just making sure you've been taken care of. They make that call pretty common. And they told me that every time she goes to the doctor, we may be back, because they just, every time this guy didn't do it, or they would have already been here, I think. But, they just come and check on them, make sure that they're okay, and sadly that goes on. Your phone list isn't listening to you this morning. Well, it's not woke up. It's not had all that coffee. Hey, folks, for those that may or may not have seen the interview that I did with Jeff Dornick of Pickaxe, another social media app. We've been on that platform for a while. They had their big kickoff on Tuesday. We were blessed to have the CEO of the company on the interview. The Google app was ready at that point. The Apple app is still not dropped, but you can, if you have Apple products, you can go to the App Store and now download the Pickaxe app, or not download, excuse me, you can apply to download it. So what they do is it will let you know when it's ready. You're like in stasis. You're ready. It's sitting on go. And I think it may release, they said Friday. So if you are interested in getting on Pickaxe, you want to follow us there as well, or someone else. It's going to be it's going to be a growing one. You're going to get this conservative. They protect freedom of speech and all that. I mean, they're a nice little app, and they marry up well with Rumble. Our belief on Rumble. If you're not on Rumble, why not get it? But a Pickaxe will allow you to write articles that with them you can use Pickaxe to write the article, and they just marry up well with Rumble. But they only had the website platform, but the apps are now out, or is out for Google, and for Apple will be out Friday. So I did that last night. Just letting you know, walk through that process. Very simple. It just gives you a little message that when they will let you know when it's ready. I'm hearing that Friday. And when he was on, he said it was any day. They just had a lot of hoops to jump through, and they were expecting that any day. So that day is Friday, tomorrow. If you want to get that out, Pickaxe. It's a great little platform. Some people got what they got, and they don't want to change. I'm just giving you information. There's good ones and bad ones. There's some that are better than others. You like what you like. Support your local app. I guess. Can you imagine a phone that could store every app out there? It's not possible. You have to pick and choose. Sometimes you have to drop an app to load an app, I figure if I'm not ever using it, it's kind of like you cut the cord, I just, because, they're just in there, and they're handy if you ever do want them. But it's like hoarding. You can hoard apps, and you don't want to do that. So you got to go through and sometimes get rid of a few. And I'm one of those, I'm always thinking, what if I want to use it though, But all you have to do is go re-download it if you ever wanted it. So I got better about it. Yeah, man. You have a blessed day too, man. Be safe out there turning them wrenches. May your day be great. May the machines run awesome, and may anybody that's may no operators be mad at you or whoever you're fixing for. May they be kind in their comments today as you turn those wrenches. I know Tommy though. Tommy knows how to handle negative Nellies or smart aleck Toms or whatever you want to say. He knows how to handle that. We miss you though, man. But Tommy's good people, and he's good Southern man. He's that Leonard Skinner kind of guy, hard working, hard charging, good man. Like Jerry. Jerry's hard charging. He just does it from a pulpit. He might charge around the church at times. Back in his day, I bet he got with it. I bet if you were on the back row, everybody wants to get on the back row. I got to tell you something happened. I couldn't believe that the guy said this. I went to my granddaughter's. We had to go up. She'll be in high school next year. So you go up and you sign up for classes and you're trying to get those classes. So they had different people coming out speaking on different things. Well, there's a guy come out and he says this. I couldn't believe it. And he says, well, it's like a church in here. He said, all you Baptists are on the back and all you jumpers are on the front. I couldn't believe that at the local high school. I was like, in one way, that's really bad. Another way, it's kind of funny. But I was like, I can't believe you went for it. He looked like that kind of guy. Like he looked like a crazy dude, honestly. He just had that look. But I was thinking I would be willing to bet, people were probably cringing a little bit, like, oh, maybe we should just left that one in your back pocket. You don't really need to say that. I didn't hear anybody say anything. I'm just wondering if anybody, I don't think anybody would. I think they were just more interested in getting, but he didn't get a comment. I'll say that, but I was shocked. Wow. I don't know I was wondering if the Baptists, he called them out, you're on the back row. Then he called, I knew what he meant, charismatic top worshipers, you jumpers. Never, I got to tell Biscuit Boy that tonight. Oh my goodness. I'll have to use that in church. I've not been able to go lately because of my wife, but we're just trying to get her to a stage where I can have somebody to watch her and go. So I've been doing church online. I have a church and love my church. We're just having this has been about a month or so dealing with, she just gotten worse and wasn't able to go. So we just got to do what you got to do and, take care of my wife. But when I get back, I'm going to have to say that. Jerry, I don't know if Jerry's listening. Jerry, you might get in trouble in some Baptist church. You said that, if we got any jumpers in the house, y'all can move up front. Hey, I've seen some Baptist jump. So, dude, you're wrong. If you did that at some Baptist churches, they would run you out. Everybody thinks all Baptists are the same. It's a wide range of Baptists. A wide range. It is in anything. It is in anything, in any faith or anything. The range is wide. It's not, and if you ever judge and think that they're all the same in any of these, it's not. I've seen it doesn't matter the religion. I don't have religion, but in that sense, different denominations, different religions, different faiths, different belief systems. You talk to people in all these, and you will find the very liberal in that to the very hardcore conservative in it. It happens in every one. It cracks me up because you'd be talking to them and you're trying to maybe learn their culture or what it's about, and you'll say something about it, and they will say, "You're kind of hard. You're from one of them hardcore kind or something," and they'll say it about their own. Like, well, I don't take it that serious. Just kind of cracks me up. Oh, it's like the nominal, it's like the ones that come every once in a while. You'll have that in any of that. They catch flag. Jerry says, I have gone into our church and started like I was doing a funeral. They looked like someone had died. Oh, it's like, who's this guy? It's not the way he is. What's wrong with him today? Oh, Jerry, I think I told you, but there was a really great man of God that died many years ago in the Chattanooga area. And he was a young guy at a seminary, and it was his first church, very young guy, and he had an idea. I'll make this in a little bullet point form. I won't tell the whole story, but to give you the gist, he was really just trying to jog his church. He thought this was a good idea. So the gist of the story was that he told his church that they had a family that had caused them nothing but a lot of problems, and in 3 weeks they were going to kick that family out of their church, and they were going to have a few. After they kicked them out, they were going to have like a funeral service, and they was going to preach like a funeral, and carry it. And so he said 3 weeks. So he starts building a casket in front of the parsonage that he's living in for the church, and the deacons are coming by and seeing him. Every week. I mean, every service he would talk about for 3 weeks, and they was coming by, and he's building this casket, a wooden casket in his front yard, right in front of the parsonage. And they said, if you do this, we're going to vote you out. I mean, what is wrong with you? He said, well, I just believe we got to do it. Our church won't get better until we do. And so everybody in the church is wondering if it's them. He said, this family's no good. They're just no good. We're going to get rid of them. They're holding our church back. So, they should have picked up on it, but they didn't. They went right for the, who we throwing out, So the morning of that morning, he has this casket in front of the pulpit, and it's not open. So they can't look in, but it's just for the kind of like a show thing. So they go through Sunday school. He doesn't say anything. So he gets, they go through the singing. He doesn't say anything. And he said, you could cut the tension with a knife. He said, tell me later, he said, I probably shouldn't have done it. He said, I would never do it again. He said, I'm kind of glad I did it, with a little twinkle in his eye. He said, it was probably not the right thing to do, but I'm glad I did it. But he got away with it. But he said, he gets up to preach, and he says, we're going to get rid of this family of no good people right now. I'm going to reveal the name. He said, I'm going to call them out one by one. So that really put the church on edge. Like, we're going to call out the daddy and the mom and the kids of this family. So then they knew it was a family. Like, family meaning more than husband, wife. It was including kids. We're getting rid of all of them. They're no good. And he said, the last name of this, or the name of the daddy of this family of no goods is called, his last name is useless, and or something like that. And he went through this whole thing, where he had different names for different ones, and he would talk about people that is really relating it to where they were at with their faith. If you were, if you were this, and I don't remember all the names now, but whatever he said, they just kind of relaxed. They had a good service. But he told me, as an elder, as a very aged man, he said, I probably shouldn't have done that. But he had that little grin, that little smile, that little twinkle in the eye. But it was something like that, uselessness or anyway, it was all nests. I remember that all in that. He thought up all these names, and it was different categories of people. And everybody went, they thought it was them. Which started to tell him something, people really thought he might be talking about them. So he did get their attention. 3 weeks of that. Crazy. I love it. Got to run, got things to do, got to get ready for them. Got some biscuits to pick up this morning for a meeting, and wait on somebody sit with my wife, and have a great day out there. We'll be back this evening. Remember the Dirt Report. That should kick off at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be talking to one of the dirt track racers and let him tell his story. And we'll just interject to ask questions we want to know. And it's all about letting them tell their story and what they're doing and whether I don't remember what state this one's from, but it may be. I don't remember. I won't even guess because I don't remember. But we'll have that tonight and probably music show as well. Biscuit Boy be in the house. We may do another show right behind that before the music show. So anyway, we'll try to get all that in tonight. Have a great Thursday out there. It's raining in my area. The rain was in Dusty's area, brother Dusty, yesterday in Ohio. We got it today. So Jerry says, have a great day. Got to get on a tractor. Yeah, get that tractor going, man. Crank her up. There's nothing like a man in his tractor. Yeah, I love it. Stay on that thing all day, come in. It's a hard life. And then Saturdays, he cooks all day. On some Saturdays, he has cooking with Jerry. Got all them meats and things he's cooking. I saw a little bit of one the other day. But have a great day. God bless. We'll go out with some music, and we appreciate every one of you. Like, follow, share. We didn't do any ads this morning, but we are brought to you by. We have a meeting. I've got to start getting them back in. I was rebranded everything. But our Wolf Nation coffee. I should have some new coming in today for me. We've also got Patriot Mobile, who is sponsoring. They've got some new phone things they're doing and sponsoring, but there's the race this weekend. They're on a part. I'm gonna be on a car there, Patriot Mobile out of Texas. The races in Texas. There's a nice tie-in, but they've got a new book series for kids talking about freedom and things. And so check out Patriot Mobile. If you use promo code Cornbread, you get a free month if you switch your service or start your service or whatever. That'll save you a few bucks on that first month. So Patriot Mobile, great people, love them. I have got to switch some things over to them too. I just hadn't had time lately. I got to get that done by the end of this week. But Patriot Mobile and the Wolf Nation coffees are to die for. Great coffee, and I love to drink it here in the studio especially. We'll see you next time. Take care. Be safe out there. God bless you, and God bless America. Take care.